Hey there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Deliverability Dialogues. You're likely already, navigating the complexities of email marketing. Today, we're taking a focused look at something a lot of you might be running into. Why even legitimate emails may be sent through platforms like Wix Ascend sometimes take that unwelcome detour to the spam folder.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really worth remembering why this matters so much. I mean, the ROI for email is still incredible, right? Something like 36 miles for every dollar spent.
Yeah, it's still way ahead of things like paid search or social media. It's huge.
Exactly. So our goal, our mission in this deep dive is really to pinpoint the common reasons Wix emails might end up in spam, and more importantly, give you some actionable insights drawn from expert analysis to help fix it.
Absolutely. Wix offers a great suite. It's easy to use. Got tracking, management, editing, data analysis, automation, nice templates, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive.
It is. But the basic rules of deliverability and how spam filters work, they apply no matter what platform you're using.
Okay, so let's dive right in that. The first big hurdle,
Mm-hmm.
those spam filters themselves. It often starts with the words we use, doesn't it?
Precisely. Mailbox providers, Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, they have these sophisticated filters both coming in and going out.
Outbound, too. Didn't really think about that side.
Yeah, people often focus on inbound, but the stuff coming from your Wix account can trigger their outbound filters too. Certain words, certain phrases, especially in subject lines, things that sound too good to be true.
Like make millions overnight sort of thing.
Exactly, or asking for sensitive info right away. Those get flagged. So instead of double your sales instantly, maybe focus on the actual value or benefit more clearly. Careful wording is key.
That makes total sense. Avoid the hype. And speaking of doing things right, the next point feels absolutely fundamental. Getting permission before you email anyone.
Oh, 100%. Consent isn't just nice to have. It's ethically crucial, and it's massive for deliverability.
So no buying lists.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Purchase lists, scraped lists, they're just poison for your sender reputation. You'll hit spam filters almost immediately.
Oh.
The way to do it is simple. Make sure every single person has actively opted in, a clear checkbox on a sign-up form, something like that.
Right. Okay, now this next one's interesting. Switching email service providers. How can just changing platforms, even if your emails are the same, affect where they land?
Well, when you move to a new ESP, say you move away from Wix Ascend for your email sending, you're essentially using new sending servers, new IP addresses.
Okay.
So your domain's reputation, which you build up over time with good sending habits and engagement, it kind of needs to be reestablished on that new system.
So it's like starting over, reputation-wise.
A bit, yeah. It's called warming up the new domain, or IPs. It's crucial because mailbox providers are naturally a bit more suspicious of new senders. You might see some ups and downs in deliverability at first.
Gotcha.
And it's worth mentioning, some resources sometimes suggest looking at deliverability tools first, rather than just switching ESPs purely to try and fix a bad rep. Sometimes you can fix it where you are.
That's a really valuable point. Maybe switching isn't always the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, what about when and how often we send? Point 5 here is about the sending schedule. It feels like a balancing act.
It totally is a real double-edged sword. Send too rarely, people forget who you are. Send too often.
Wow.
Well, that statistic is pretty telling, isn't it? 78% of people unsubscribe because they get too many emails.
Wow, yeah, that's huge.
So you really need to figure out what your audience prefers. And also avoid sudden huge increases in how many emails you send out at once. Even if the emails are good, a sudden volume spike looks suspicious to spam filters. Gradual and consistent is usually safer.
Right, slow and steady. Okay, moving on to something that seems almost administrative, but point 6 says it matters, including a physical address. Why is that important for deliverability?
It's actually a legal requirement in many places, like under can spam in the US, but beyond that, it's about transparency.
Okay.
Having a valid postal address could be a P.O. box, a private mailbox rental, your actual street address. It helps mailbox providers see you as a legitimate sender.
Yeah.
Makes you traceable.
And not having one is a red flag.
It can definitely be a negative signal for spam filters, yeah.
Okay, good to know. Now let's talk visuals. Point 7. Image-heavy emails. We want emails to look good, but can too many pictures hurt?
They can, yeah. While visuals are great for engagement, relying too heavily on images with very little text can be tricky.
Why is that?
Well, spam filters have a harder time reading images to understand the content. So an email that's mostly pictures can seem a bit opaque, maybe hiding something. Plus, think about people with images turned off or slow connections, they just see broken boxes.
Ah, right. So what's the balance?
A common guideline people talk about is around a 60-40 text-to-image ratio.
Hmm.
Make sure a good chunk of your message is actual text.
60% text, 40% image, roughly.
Got it.
Okay. Sticking with the theme of clarity, point 8 is about accurate sender information, making sure people know who it's from.
Absolutely critical. Your reply to address, your from M and address, the hidden routing info, it all needs to accurately point back to you, your business, or the relevant person.
Consistency matters.
Huge. Interestingly, though, sometimes experimenting a bit with the from name, like using your business name versus a personal name versus maybe the newsletter's name and split testing that, sometimes that can actually boost engagement and deliverability.
Interesting tactic. Okay, point 9, email length. Are shorter emails generally better for getting into the inbox?
Generally, yes. I mean, there are exceptions, like detailed newsletters people expect to be long, but often really lengthy emails can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, I know. I sometimes just skim long ones.
Exactly. They can signal maybe a lack of focus, and it's harder for the recipient to find the main point or the call to action. Keeping things concise, clear, main point, maybe one or two calls to action, and links if people want more detail, that tends to work better.
Keep it focused. Okay, point 10 feels like another absolute must-have, the unsubscribe option. Making it easy to leave seems vital.
Oh, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Seriously. Not only is a clear, easy-to-find unsubscribe link legally required most places, it's just crucial for your sender health.
Because if people can't find it, they just hit spam.
Precisely. Even better sometimes is offering preference management, letting people choose what kind of emails they get or how often, rather than just a blanket unsubscribe from everything.
Ah, that's smart. More control for the user. Okay, point 11, engagement. Or the lack of it. How does low engagement hurt deliverability?
Well, think about it from the mailbox provider's perspective. If hardly anyone is opening your emails or clicking links, it sends a pretty strong signal that, well, maybe people don't find them valuable,
And so they start thinking it might be spam.
or at least not priority inbox material. And importantly, pruning your list, removing subscribers who haven't engaged in a long time. Monitor those open and click rates, compare them to benchmarks like that average open rate around 21-ish%. Keep the list healthy.
Let's get a bit technical. Point 12, email authentication. SBF, DKIM, DMRC. Sounds complex, but important.
Extremely important. These are basically the technical ways you prove you are who you say you are and that the email hasn't been faked or tampered with.
Gotcha. Sticking with the technical side, point 13, high complaint and bounce rates. We touched on complaints, but bounces too. What are the danger levels?
Yeah, you want to keep both really low. Generally, the aim is less than 2% for bounces, that's emails that couldn't be delivered, and less than 0.1% for complaints, that's only one complaint per 1,000 emails sent.
Well, 0.1% is tiny.
It is. High bounce rates usually mean your list quality is poor, lots of old, invalid addresses, needs cleaning. High complaints mean people are actively disliking your emails. Both severely harm your sender reputation.
Right, nearly there. Point 14, sloppy HTML.
Yeah.
Can bad code actually cause emails to go to spam?
It definitely can. Poorly written HTML, broken tags, weird formatting, maybe using wrong color codes, broken links inside the code. It can confuse spam filters. And besides filters, it also just causes rendering problems. The email looks broken or weird on different devices or email clients, which is a bad experience.
So best practices.
Use responsive design so it looks good everywhere. Stick to standard table-based HTML for structure generally. Always include a plain text version alongside the HTML. And yeah, just use clean CSS and HTML. Avoid weird scripts if possible.
Okay, final point, number 15, form abuse. How can a website form cause email deliverability issues?
This is about your sign-up forms or contact forms on your website. If they aren't protected, spam bots can hit them constantly.
And sign up loads of fake addresses.
Exactly. Or just submit garbage. If those fake or malicious submissions get onto your email list and you start sending to them, boom, high bounces, maybe spam traps hit, complaints. It tanks your deliverability.
Ouch. So how do we protect the forms? That's CAPTCHA.
Right.
And just so we're all clear, it's pronounced CAPTCHA.
Like capture or maybe gotcha. Yeah.
Exactly, like gotcha. Good one.
Another technique is using honeypot fields, which are hidden fields that only bots will fill out, allowing you to identify and block them. Basic security on your forms is crucial. So really, when you look at all these points, a lot of the reasons why Even good emails from a platform like Wix might hit the spam folder. They're often things we can actually control. If you prioritize getting that permission, sending stuff people actually value, being consistent and responsible, making sure your technical setup is solid, and watching those key metrics, your chances of hitting the inbox consistently go way, way up.
That's it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, happy inbox outlining.